now it's time for a presentation of Monika Dockendorff. Monika, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes?
hear you.
Okay, great. I'm going to share my presentation. Please confirm that you can see the presentation.
Still not?
Not yet? Can you see it now?
No. Sorry.
No? Oh.
It's a long way
Oh,
from
okay.
Chile.
We're pretty away. Shall I do it again? I'm going to do it again. Again. Can you see it now?
Sorry, not.
No. The system is telling me that I am sharing. So what I did is that I sent the presentation to Lucas like 1 minute ago.
That's the
So
best solution.
maybe Lucas.
Yes, he's waiting for your email.
Sharing. Oh, I sent it already. I sent it to him like a couple of minutes ago. Can you confirm, Lucas, that you received my presentation? I'll try to share it again. It's weird because we use this type of.
I'm going to
Hi.
check my mail.
Okay, I sent it from the UC email address. The one we've been using to talk, basically. I'll try again.
Yeah, please do it again.
Doing it again. Confirming that I'm sharing. You're not seeing it, right?
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Did you?
No.
I tried
Now
to
we
do that.
can now we
What
can
you
see
do?
your presentation, so now we are fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
It's so
coming from your
here.
computer now, so it should be working.
It's coming. Okay.
Okay, everything is prepared
First
for
of
you.
all,
Yes, the floor is yours.
okay, thank you so much, and I'm sorry for the delay. I want to thank Lucas for inviting me to share my presentation today with you at this conference. He was here in Chile last year, so it's nice to share it in your country now. So I'm going to tell you about the Digital Transformation Project. It's an experience of 2 years at SchoolNet in Chile. Okay, and I'm a faculty at Universidad de. Now I can, okay, you can see, right? It's changing? Is it working?
No, sorry, that is the first screen only.
Oh, the first screen again. Oh, I'm changing screens, no? Nothing?
Yes, right now. We are on the same screen.
Okay, so it's delayed. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Chilean context because, well, as we said, it's a very far away country in South America. Our population is 19 million people approximately, 12,000 schools and 3 million students, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about our new public school system organization, the administration. Before, since the 80s, when Pinochet was in charge, he passed schools to the municipalities here in Chile, and we have 345 of them. And this wasn't probably a great idea because municipalities have different kinds of resources and amount of resources. There's in the territory we have differences, obviously, and some municipalities are very poor and have very low resources and professionals and no access to equipment and infrastructure. So we have very great differences among schools. So we have a reform now from 2027 that we decided as a consensus here in Chile to change this distribution from municipalities to something that we call SLEP, which is these local public educational services. We're going to have 70 of them, and all of them are going to be in charge of the same amount of students and will have the same amount of resources. So this is an equity sort of reform. So I want to tell you that so you have an idea how education is in Chile, and it's related to performance. Please let me know when you see the new slide.
Yes. Yes.
And you see the one
Yes,
about
we are
performance
performance in
mathematics?
mathematics, right?
Yes. So what I was telling you about, this differences in socioeconomic and poor and rich, let's say, communalities, we can see that also in performance here. As you see in Chile, compared to other countries that participate in PISA, our bottom 20 is very, very low. And it's very far away from our top 20 from quintiles here. So, but also the distribution is lower than other countries. So it's very complicated, this socioeconomic divide. I'm showing performance in mathematics here because it's what's most accurate now. But I'm going to concentrate this presentation in science as well. So we have teams. We participate on a lot of standardized international tests. So as you can see from teams 2019, if we compare Chilean performance to the international median, we have 22% of students in Chile in the very low performance level and only 1% in the advanced, compared to 15% in the very low and 7% in the advanced. So we're not doing that good. Still, if we compare ourselves with countries in the region, we're doing a little bit better. In terms of time, we see that performance in 8th grade, this is 8th grade, right? It's in Spanish, that is 8th grade. It's been increasing significantly also from 2015 to 2019, but still lower than the other countries. Regarding content domain, it's interesting that, again, in 8th grade, we see the different domains in sciences. Some are very low, like chemistry and physics. This is chemistry, this is physics. But we do particularly well in biology. I think that's tradition in Chile, and also earth science. I believe this has something to do with all the earthquakes that we have in Chile. So we tend to talk a lot about that and teach students about earth sciences. So that's a broad idea about our performance in Chile here in math and science, and I want to tell you about this consultancy that we've been performing for 2 years now in a school net that is called Sociedad de Instrucción Primaria, SIP for short. And it's a very large school net because it has 22,000 students, 913 teachers, 594, 17 schools, and in these 12 communes in the metropolitan region. Here what you see is a map of Santiago, which is the capital of Chile, and the rich part of the city is here, at the right top, in this part. So as you can see, the schools, the 17 schools are located in the more vulnerable part of the city, so attending more vulnerable students. The consultancy objective was to incorporate into the school curriculum both the use of different digital resources and the most suitable strategies for the development of pedagogical competencies, also considering aspects of teacher training along the lines defined in the framework of the institution's digital transformation plan. This is a very old net school. It was created in 1856, as you see, but they are very top in integrating digital technology, in innovation in the school. They have a commitment with that, so it's interesting. And my colleague and I, who led the consultancy, we've been leading it for 2 years, we worked with these 4 subjects. I was leading mathematics and science, and my colleague was leading language and history, okay? So what we did was we selected one of the 17 schools to make a pilot implementation in 2023, last year. So we selected this school, Los Nogales. This is the school that we selected because of the characteristics of the director, the teacher, the students. It was a very appropriate place, school, environment to pilot the implementation of digital technology integration. So what we did was the consultants, me and my colleague, together with the innovation coordinators, this is an intermediate agent that is not common to exist in schools in Chile, but since they are endemic schools, they have 2 innovation coordinators per subject for the 17 schools, okay? So, consultants, me and my colleague, with an innovation coordinator and selected teachers, we planned 2 technology support lessons per subject, which were implemented and reported during last year, right? So what we did particularly, I'm going to show just math and science now. In mathematics, we worked in 6th grade. We worked the topic of probabilities using GeoGebra as a digital resource. Probably most of you know it. In mathematics in secondary, in 8th grade, we worked with rotation and also using GeoGebra. And in science, 5th grade, we worked with electric circuit using a PhET simulator. And in science in secondary, 10th grade, we worked the topic of mitosis, cell division, using augmented reality, okay? So I'm going to show you a little bit about what it looked like when students were working in the class. Every single student had a computer. They were supposed to talk with their classmates and naturally have a conversation with the teacher who was leading the class. So here in math, they were rolling a dice and observing tendencies, right? In math, as I told you, it was rotation, so they were adverting identification of rotation rules. Here they were creating an electric circuit and identifying when did this burn safely, naturally, and what were the variables that were involved in the circuit, right? And here in mitosis, they were analyzing, I don't know if you see here, but it's a cube here. So with the tablet, they were screening all the faces of the cube, and they could see in this image the phases of mitosis. So they could zoom in, zoom out, look at the cell, the division, etc. We were challenged because we had to come up with a scheme to scalate this to 17 schools. Remember, we selected particularly a very particular good school to do the pilot application, but then we had to scalate to 17 schools. This is more than 500 technology-enriched lessons. So what we planned was to add 2 lessons per subject. We had 2 lessons per subject with 2 additional. We have now in 2024 4 lessons per subject. We did teacher-line training for the lesson plan socialization and analysis and getting familiar with it. But this was the most important initiative, the teacher in-person training, where we did lesson plan enactment. I'll tell you a little bit more about that, and then the implementations came. So this is I'm going to just show science now. Every time I'm focusing on science. This is the online training. So basically, unlike before, we have 2 lessons. This is circuit. This is doing it again in mitosis. It's repeated, right? But the 2 new are regarding to the atomic model and light and optics in 8th and 9th grade. So what happened in this online training is that the model teachers or the innovation coordinators gathered together with all the science teachers involved in this grade levels, and they told them and showed them and taught them how to use the resources, also analyzed the student handouts, reviewed the lesson plan, and they analyzed it. This was in May, yeah, in May. In June, we did this was key, the in-person training. So what you see here is that a lesson enactment by science teachers from 17 different schools. So all of these people that you see here are teachers, right? Science teachers that in the future will implement the optics class, right? And the teacher role rotated. So this teacher was playing teacher for 10 minutes, let's say, and then another teacher followed his lead and followed the class because they already knew the lesson plan and etc. Then this person came and this. So they all enacted the teacher role and also student role. There was in many adjustments to the lesson materials happened. This was great because they had the liberty to change the handouts, the formulating of the questions, the sequencing, so they engaged a lot. This is the same class, but it's a real implementation. We recorded one particular class of every single lesson plan. This is the report. So as you see, it's a very large class. We have approximately 45 students per class. That's a lot. And here's the teachers, students are working with their computers, and here you see large classes, lots of engagement, active learning. So students are asking the teacher, how can I change this? What happens with the mirrors? What if it's a straight mirror or a concave mirror? That's what they're doing. So it was very interesting. I want to tell you a little bit about impact. We have two types of impact. We have for the mitosis lesson, SEEP, this net of schools, they have a particular standardized test, internal standardized test, right? That is called the MDA test, right? So we have the intervention and the control. We didn't plan on that, but this is the class that was the intervention, the class that happened with the tablets and with the augmented reality, as you saw. And if you see in this particular learning objective that it's related to the comparison of mitosis and meiosis, and this particular class has higher test results compared to the same teacher with no intervention and compared to the whole net of school test results. So that's one thing regarding learning results. We have another type of impact. We raised and we collected students' perceptions regarding the optics lesson. So we have 365 students that completed an online questionnaire. We asked them to what extent do they think the virtual lab helped to understand the concept of mirror imaging. In their opinion, what aspects of the virtual lab helped them the most in understanding mirror image formation, and whether they think it's important to do this activity virtually and why. So regarding the third question, do you think it's important to do this activity virtually and why? 92% of them said yes, they think it's important. And the type of answers that they raised are represented in these 7 particular answers. For example, when the person says, yes, because you have to move the drawing a lot, and on paper you can't move. In virtual, you understand better. Another student said, yes, because I can experiment and do the experiment on my own and not watch someone else do it. So he is confirming that it's very important to do it yourself. He's talking about meaningfulness, right? Another example is because you can modify and do all the activities without any problem and without risk, and repeat as many times as you want the activity. So they're talking about also about rhythms of learning. And number 4, because you can develop technological skills, and we all have different ways to understand better and need something different in the subject. We can be motivated. So he's talking about technological skills directly and also motivation, affective elements. Number 5, because it can be much more accurate and precise when displaying an image. So accuracy in the results and what you're learning. And six, since it is interactive activity, not as monotonous and boring as in a notebook copying text from the blackboard. So he's comparing an innovation with traditional teaching and learning. And number seven, to learn more and to know how to use the app for other activities in the future. So the student is like telling the teacher, please continue to use this method because it's more interesting. So we have a lot of different appreciations of students, and I think we need to look at these. The same as the prior presenter, she was talking about affective elements, emotions, engagement. When we use technology, we are addressing both cognitive learning and also motivation and naturally affective elements. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you, this experience, and I'm happy to receive questions from the audience. I'm really sorry for the technical problems.
Thank you very much, Monika, for your brilliant insights into Chile education system. And are there any questions to this topic? Yes.
Hello, Monika.
Yes?
Thank you very much for your presentation. I have to admit that you are the one who brought me in this room. I actually wanted to listen to your presentation when I see the title from the timetable. And I would like to congratulate you for the nice work that you have done. But I would like to get some lessons from you. The first one, how did you manage to convince teachers, school principals, just to come in and do whatever you did? Because I understand working with teachers and even the school principals to accept this sometimes becomes very challenging as they are chasing the time to complete the curriculum. That's number one. But the other thing that I would like to know is how did you ensure that teachers would proceed with this? Like when you stop working with them, it doesn't stop there, then it becomes their norm. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions. I think those are key questions, definitely. We face what you're saying in the first question, so rejection of new things. This is something add-on. I don't have time. I'm scared. I don't feel secure about using technology. We have that a lot in Chile. So first element, I think, is very important that the net of schools, I told you, is very old, but they have led innovation always. They want to be in the head of innovating and using new methodologies. That is something part of the school's principles and the hierarchical part of the school. So there's always been like that. I've been working with them for at least 10 years. So they know me a lot. So there's a lot of confidence, first of all. And a lot of teachers know me because every year I go and I do something with a math teacher. So basically, we all know each other. So that's one thing. They're very convinced that this is important. Teachers, they were sort of, this was mandatory for teachers. They didn't really have an alternative. They had to do it. So, but I think that offering professional opportunities to develop these skills, that was key. So we had two, the online session, but the most important one was the in-person session. So they were working with their colleagues, all of them learning how to use these new digital resources together with the innovation coordinator. And they, in that session, they got very appropriate with this new methodology. Also, the first class, the classes that were in the pilot experimentation were done by co-teaching. So that the teacher, the model teacher, and the innovation coordinator, both of them in co-teaching gave the class. So they were, they were helping each other basically. Both were responsible. And so, regarding your second question, how can we install competencies? And we're leaving now, so the consultancy is finishing now. It's 2 years, but we're leaving now as consultants. So how can we be sure that they will still do this? Well, it's very difficult. What we're doing is that since this is a school net, the plans are done, and class plans are developed by centrally, right? So many lessons will be appear in their booklets, including technology, right? So now my duty to finish this consultancy is to have to record many short videos, let's say, teaching and showing and illustrating how you use GeoGebra, for example, for working with probabilities, rotation, the classes that I showed you, and also showing, little videos in our repository, showing and teaching and illustrating how to use the PhET simulators as well. So the new teacher has to face this challenge. He or she will have short videos, capsules, in order to learn how to use the resource. He will have the recorded lesson by his colleagues. So he will have a lot of materials to learn and to adopt these new strategies. So that's what we plan for now.
Okay, Monika, thank you very much for your answer. And now I'm convinced that it's time for my presentation. So thank you.